What's up, friends? Welcome to ThreatGEN Red vs. Blue Let's Play. It is Wednesday. It is 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and that can only mean one thing. We're going to have a good time in the ThreatGEN Red vs. Blue cybersecurity simulation platform, and today is going to be a really, really fun episode. So ChatGPT is pretty much taking the internet by storm. People are using it to build businesses. People are using it to write malware, and people are using it to help them be more secure in some capacities. Well, let's put it through its paces today. Clint Bodungen is going to go into greater detail on how we did this, but the ChatGPT AI bot or platform or whatever you want to call it has been trained up on ThreatGEN's Red versus Blue. And today we're going to take our hands off the wheel and let ChatGPT be the chief information security officer of a pipeline an oil and like basically a fuel pipeline company, right? Like serious critical infrastructure. Can ChatGPT be an effective CISO? Personally, as a recovering CISO, I certainly hope that there's still some value prop for the human in this equation, but we'll see. I see you, Eric the Gray, Aaron KG, Abdullah Carey. We're going to have a great time today. I hope you can join us. Let's see if ChatGPT can do it. What's going on, Clint? How are you, man?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Just so you know, Alex, don't freak out. Don't adjust your screen. I'm making a change for 2023. You can't call me Hat Man right now.
All right. I love it. New year, new you. So speaking of new year, new you, Clint, why don't you run us through ChatGPT and what you have done as we get prepped for today's show?
Yeah. So in general, what haven't I done with ChatGPT? It's pretty amazing. Alex says, why? I'll tell you later. Anyway, so in terms of, Red versus Blue, obviously it can't play the game because it's just a chat language model, right? It's just an AI that generates realistic human responses to chat prompts. However, they've trained this thing over years, and it has a vast knowledge of so many things, as many of you have already seen, right? You can ask it questions about anything. You have it write code. You can do a lot of stuff, and it knows a lot about cybersecurity. And so I wanted to see if I could, and it was your idea, Jerry, based off of the stream that you did with Haiku, and seeing if it could beat some of the scenarios there. It's some of the ranges there. However, hey Julio, I see you. Good to see you. Sorry, we need the background music. Thank you. After you gave me the idea, I wanted to see if there was a way we could actually figure out how to get ChatGPT to play Red versus Blue. So here's what I did. I first asked it if it knew what Red versus Blue was, and it did based off of its training prior to 2021, because that's when the training stopped. Then I asked it, it's like, hey, can I teach you how to play the game? And it said, sure, I'd love to learn. And then I said, I'm going to play the game. I'm going to teach you the rules. I'm going to play the game, and I'm going to have you be my advisor, and you tell me what to do. And it said, okay. And so I gave it the basic rules of the game. I gave it all of the actions the blue team can play, their costs, their resources. And really, if you look at how this, I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to go to the beginning of my training prompts on how I train this thing. Hold on real quick. I'll pull it up in just a second. So if you look at this, and I said, I'm playing ThreatGEN Red versus Blue. Hold on real quick. I asked it if it could do this, and it said, well, it depends. It didn't know much about the game. So then I said, well, are you familiar with the rules of the game? And it said, no, it said all these things, and said it made an assumption about the rules. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to teach you the rules and mechanics of ThreatGEN Red versus Blue. Is that okay? And then it tried to tell me, well, I can't play the game. I'm sorry. And that's what's interesting about ChatGPT is that you can give it prompts and it says, well, I can't do that. But if you give it a prompt in a different way, it does it. So and I said, okay, well, I'm going to teach you the rules so that you can advise me on play the game. It says, oh, I see. I apologize for the confusion. Then it says, I can't play, but I can advise you. And then so I went in and I just gave it some basic prompts on what ThreatGEN is, and, being a turn-based game, et cetera, et cetera. And then it starts to give me summations of its understanding, which is really amazing. So then I said, okay, well, here are the win conditions of the game. So I gave the win conditions and it says, thank you. And then I continue on with basic rules. I give it a lot of rules and just kind of summarize how the game works. And then I give it all the actions and the cost through the game. And it continues to give me summaries of its understanding. And then I gave it all the prerequisites. And as I gave it more prompts, it was giving me more detailed information about its understanding of the game. And so I made a mistake there and in my prompts, but then eventually got down to where I just kept giving it rules, kept talking about the game. It kept giving me understanding. And then I told it about all the assets because we're going to be playing the pipeline level today. So I gave it all the pipeline assets, gave it more rules, and literally just sat there and had a conversation with it about the rules of the game and increasing its understanding. Now, at the end of the day, what happened was I spent about a week training this thing. And some of you may have noticed over the course of the last day or so, the system was going up and down. It was unavailable for a period of time because it was maxed out. It reached capacity. Then they did an update last night. So a couple things happened. Number one, they did the update and it's under such capacity. If you see over here, it says none of my prior conversations or sessions are available. Well, here's a problem with that. The training for ChatGPT stopped in 2021. So it doesn't know anything and you can't train it beyond that. However, it remembers everything from your session. Well, I lost my sessions. So guess what I got to do this morning? Luckily, I was smart enough, or fortunate enough, however you want to put it, to copy all of my training prompts and paste them into a Word document. So when I came back in here, all I had to do was just paste them all in and retrain it. Now, here's going to be interesting because the downside was through my training sessions over the past week or so, I played several test games, and there were some mistakes it made and some assumptions that it made. It was really cool because having the AI learn about the game and play the game, it actually taught me more about some of the assumptions that we as developers are making about the game that that we didn't pick up on. So we were able to actually improve the game a little bit by doing this, but I lost all that session data. So I wasn't able to play any test games by pasting in the new training data this morning, but I was able to hopefully gather summaries of everything that I've discovered from playing test games. And I put it in as new training prompts. So hopefully I was able to use everything I learned from training games. So that's it. That's how we trained ChatGPT to play. I can tell you through the training games that we did play, it was actually very good, very thorough. And I was very, very surprised to see some of the responses and prompts that it gave me on how it played this game. So we'll see if it does the same thing without some training games, but it should be trained up.
I like it. All right. So why don't we drop into, let me bring up my screen. And we'll start the game. Here, let me do this, Clint. All right, we're going to play this. This is ThreatGEN Red versus Blue. If you're interested, I'm playing along. You can play your own ThreatGEN Red versus Blue by going to threatgen.com. It'll be the same interface, the same format. All right, so let's go ahead and hit play, single player. We're going to be the blue team because ChatGPT is the CISO. We're going to do the pipeline company, which is a medium-sized environment with industrial control systems in the form of SCADA and distributed control systems.
Did you set it to 50 turns?
I did not. Let me do this. Let me do play. Let me do single player. Let me do blue team. Let me do pipeline.
Wait, no, go back to settings.
Let me do settings. Let me do 50
oh, it is
turns.
50 turns. Okay,
Yep.
perfect. It kept your settings from last time.
Let's do play. Let's do single player. Let's do blue team. Let's do pipeline. Now, guys, if you're not familiar with ThreatGEN Red versus Blue, I know many of you are, but just for those who are new, it is a simulated environment with an active adversary AI playing the other side. So because we're blue today, the threat actors will be active adversary AI attempting to attack our pipeline company. Our mission is to protect the industrial control systems, protect the IT infrastructure, survive, do incident response if we have to do that. It's ChatGPT's responsibility today, but in order to actually win the game, achieve a win condition, we either eliminate all the vulnerabilities in the environment, we increase our threat intelligence score to 100% and effectively docks the APT and, they can't get to us anymore, or we survive the 50 turns. Let's go, ChatGPT.
All right, real quick.
Yep.
I have to give it to before you start. It's already started. Hit start turn and hit the gear icon to pause it.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go in here now, and so what I'm going to tell is okay, we're ready to start the game. We begin with a starting budget of 50,000 and 3 staff. That's what we have. I'm just basically telling, hey, it's turn 1. I also forgot to train it on this. So I said, remember, we can queue up. I just basically told it the rules on how to queue up. All right, so let's see what it says. Oh, hold on. This happened before. I just have to do a re. There we go. Let me see. I knew this was going to happen because
it's a live tech demo, Clint.
Yep, exactly. All right, so now let's see. They're under high demand right now. So, all right, there we go. Now let's see if we can do this. Boom.
Here we go.
Look at that. You could read the responses, Jerry. I'm just going to be behind the keyboard here.
All right. So the CISO, the AI CISO is telling me that given the information provided, CISO wants us to do a first turn gateway firewall action and is explaining why, although as the CISO, you don't need to explain it. We're also going to segment the network and do 2FA. There are also important actions to increase the network's things, but of course the order of these actions and which actions you want to play on the first turn depends on overall strategy. Oh, it says I would recommend playing policies and procedures too. Okay, so let's go ahead and execute this. Gateway firewall.
Nope, let's...
Policies and procedures. Sorry about that. ChatGPT, can you come back, CISO? We have one extra resource to play. Let's see what ChatGPT says. After that, I would recommend playing... Yeah, so... What do I do, ChatGPT? What do I do, CISO? Let's see. All right, so we've done gateway firewall. Hold on.
We forgot to tell it what we're queuing up.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. What else did we do? Gateway firewall.
And policies and procedures. Oh, that's interesting. Sean Spratt says that he's had good experience telling ChatGPT to be concise and avoid repeating things. With one staff remaining, I would recommend spending the staff member on the asset inventory. Okay. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and find asset inventory.
While you're doing that, so Maxwell said that he'll pay us not to do any more content like this because a lot of people are going. He feels like a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, but a lot of but a lot of people are going to be unemployed soon because and I'll tell you right now, I'm going to do an episode next week on ChatGPT as it relates to cybersecurity, and I'm going to talk about that right there on why I don't feel like this is going to cost anybody their jobs. But that'll be the content for next week's stream.
All right. Well, I've gone ahead and queued these things up. Let's go ahead and end the turn. See what ChatGPT says. Okay, hold on. So we got our perimeter firewall installed. That's good. We have no actions remaining, so we're going to go ahead and end the turn anyways.
Wait, hold on. Watch this. You want to do this and be like, okay. So you're going to tell it, okay, we have ended our turn, and it is now, watch this, now turn 2. If it does the same thing,
all right, so vulnerability assessment to identify vulnerabilities, and then use that information to play mitigation actions such as patching and hardening.
So basically, we need to tell it. There's, what do we have since policies and procedures? And what policy procedures takes 2 turns and 2 turns to complete.
3.
What takes 3? Asset inventory.
Asset inventory also takes 3.
Well, they both take 3.
Yep. We're letting ChatGPT be the Chief Information Security Officer for this company as we play ThreatGEN Red versus Blue. Hot take from AKG. If you think AI is going to take over your job, you're sadly mistaken. It's not there yet. There's no human emotion to AI. It's going to be more expensive.
Okay, we got to tell it we don't have it. So these are the issues that I came across when I was playing test games. It takes it a couple turns for it to realize that those resources are
locked up.
Are not available.
Well, that's okay. Let's just end the turn and go to turn 3.
Okay.
Now we are going to still be locked up right now. And you can, I don't know if you want to tell ChatGPT that we're doing turn 3.
Just a second, yeah. Staff resources are unavailable until the action it is assigned to complete. At that time, staff resources will be so I'll tell it we have ended turn 2 and it is now turn 3.
All right. And we're on turn 3 right now. We'll unlock all of our resources after this turn here.
All right. I need to correct it. It says gateway firewall action is still in.
That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and end the turn.
Yep.
So there's not much to see on the red versus blue thing. Yeah,
so look what it's saying. It's saying now it'd be good to start setting up incident response procedures. So this is kind of like, so yeah, this is interesting of what it's saying. So I need to tell it that the gateway firewall action is already complete. So now we have a gateway firewall asset. But it's interesting on what it's wanting us to play, saying that it would recommend playing 2-factor authentication on the next turn, as well as these other actions. So go ahead and flip over. And so I'll queue it up here.
Yeah, Oops. Let me show you. We've completed our policies and procedures. We've completed our asset inventory. We've completed our perimeter firewall. You can see our firewall is here. We've got our 3 resources and our full $50,000 budget still in place. Clint is asking the CISO, aka ChatGPT, what should we be doing now? I just want to address a question really quickly. Euda, I hope I said that correctly. Euda asks, in order to rely on ChatGPT, you have to give all the context. So in some instances, you can just ask ChatGPT and it's pretty good about inferring context. But because this is a game with very complicated rules and conditions, and situations depend on what has happened in the past or what is currently happening in the current state of the game, Clint has spent several hours training ChatGPT in the rules and in the mechanisms of this particular game, ThreatGEN Red versus Blue, to behave, to make decisions like a CISO. So almost think of it as like cybersecurity chess. And the chess AI has been trained on the rules of chess. In this case, it's ThreatGEN Red versus Blue, and the AI has been trained in ThreatGEN Red versus Blue. And we're putting it through the paces right now to do information security officer work. Clint, I'm going to pull up ChatGPT real quick. We have 1 minute left to make our decisions for our 3 resources. What does ChatGPT say?
The CISO's taken a long time to make his decision. I imagine it's probably going to give us a network error where, like, again.
Yep. Can you scroll up?
You can pause. You can pause the game and give it time.
Oh, that's true. I feel like didn't ChatGPT give us some guidance?
Right here.
Okay.
So it said 2-factor authentication is what it wanted to play next. And then it said it would also be a good idea to start setting up incident response procedures and create the backup process in case of a compromise.
Well, let me do that while we're getting this going. So 2FA and IR procedures. That uses all of our actions. I will give it a moment for ChatGPT to respond, but it is experiencing bandwidth issues, so we're going to hopefully execute its wishes and then be able to handle.
There we go. All right, as we now have the gateway firewall installed in its turn 4, it will be a good idea to play now it wants to segment the network. This action it was telling us 2-factor authentication before because it didn't realize the firewall was installed. Now that it says since it knows the firewall is installed, it wants us to segment the network.
Okay.
This section will further secure our network by creating security zones, restricting access between them, making it more difficult for the red team to move laterally and compromise more systems. With a cost of 10,000 and 2 staff, it will take 3 turns to complete. Once completed, it opens up the opportunity for blah, 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 blah. This guy knows how to play the game.
Well, okay, so here's a small challenge. We have 4 seconds left on the clock. I've already queued up 2FA. I would have to remove 2FA and then get to network segmentation quick.
Okay. I'm gonna tell it this then. Okay.
I can try to do it.
Just no. Just tell me what you got. Okay. So based on your prior advice, we are playing. I forgot how the action is. 2-factor. Oops.
Yeah, 2-factor authentication.
What else did we queue up? 2-factor authentication.
Incident response procedures.
And that's the only 2?
Yes. We'll give it a shot. All right, I'm going to go ahead. Here, I'm going to switch screens. While that's queuing up, Clint, if you can, we're going to wrap this right now. CISO chatbot did say it wanted to do backup procedures on devices, so we'll be doing that. We have 3 turns allocated for these 2 processes, or these 2 actions to take effect. So we've got some time for the CISO ChatGPT to scale up its resources and be able to do a little bit more work. Yep, Eric the Gray, ChatGPT is viral gold right now. It is so much ChatGPT. I'm actually working on a ChatGPT video myself. How can you use ChatGPT to make you a more effective GRC analyst? Stay tuned for that.
So you can see here on the communication I'm having with it.
Yep.
So it wanted me to play those other things. It wanted me to play something, and I had to remind it I don't have any staff available. Then it tells me I'm correct.
Nice.
So anyway.
All right. Well, we've got actions committed, so we're going to be on turn 7. Do you want to just tell it it's turn 7 now, and we have 3 resources available, and
Yep.
2FA and IR procedures are completed.
All right. It is now turn 7. We have 3 staff available.
And you can see here the actions are queued up.
42.
Actions are queued up. 42,500. You can see here we've unlocked some of our skill tree here. We're doing IR procedures right now. And we've got our 2FA in the works. We still have not installed a SIM. So the CISO, classic CISO, working on protection and an identification phases before getting into the detection phase.
So what's interesting is that earlier it did say it wanted us to segment the network. Now it's sort of abandoning that idea, unless. So I'm going to ask it a question as the cybersecurity engineer. So it's telling us, based on your situation, I recommend playing the following. I mean, so it's giving us a lot of things to do.
This is good though. We can use this if it gets hung up. But
yeah, so I'm going to ask it one thing. I'm just going to say, earlier you advised us to segment the network. Do you still want us to do that, or should we switch priorities to the latest suggestions you just gave? Now, this is interesting. This is similar to a real dialogue that you would have in real life, right? A CISO told you one thing, he changed his mind, he or she changed their mind, they're doing another thing, and they're giving unclear directions, and you, as the practitioner, have to go back and clarify what they want. So now the CISO says, given that you've already started incident response procedures, I need to tell it those are finished, but or did we?
No, that's what it's saying. It's saying now that you have those procedures, you should do a SIM. It's not mentioning network segmentation right now, but I'll go ahead and do this. I'll do the SIM and the IDS sensors and VPN.
Okay, so we will play install SIM. Is that what it is? Install SIM?
Yep. Install SIM and 2 IDS sensors. 2
network security sensors.
Hold on. Why 2 network security sensors? Oh, just because the availability.
Yeah, is that what you're doing? Or
well, I will be. Okay. Here, let me do it while you're queuing that up. I'll go ahead and end the turn.
And then also.
Okay, we've got our procedures. All right, so it said install SIM, and then do network. I can't install network sensors until the SIM is done.
Okay, so IR procedures have now completed.
Yes.
So we're going to play install SIM, 2 network security sensors.
I can't do network security sensors because the SIM is a
prerequisite. Yep. Okay. SIM, and what else are we doing then?
I don't know.
What it says.
I mean, it said VPN at one point, but we can't do that until we segment the network.
Right. Okay. I'm going to tell it that. I'm going to say, we will install the SIM, but we can't deploy network security sensors until the SIM is installed. We can't install VPN until type today. The network is segmented. All right. Now, if your IR procedures, you have the ability to go into IR mode. I told it that, which is very important when. Okay. It misunderstood what the IR mode is for. So, right, as I'm telling it these little caveats, it'll remember it as we move forward.
All right, next step is segment network action. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. If ChatGPT is a he. All right, so
Yes.
Clint, I'm
So
going to go ahead. Here, I'm going to show everybody what's up. Parse through ChatGPT's response, if you would. So I'm going to go ahead and install the SIM and the segment the network, which is what ChatGPT is asking us to do as the CISO of this organization. We're on turn 7. And you can see here we have done a firewall, policies and procedures, asset inventory, 2FA, and created IR procedures, all at the behest of ChatGPT. I'm going to go ahead and end the turn and pass it.
okay.
All right, here we go. Now we have SIM threat monitoring enabled. We have one person available. The network segmentation is going to take 2 turns. Clint, I'll throw it back to you and ChatGPT. Are we going to want to do NIDS now, or does ChatGPT have some thoughts?
Well, let's see. Sounds like a good plan. Installing the SIM will give us the ability to detect and respond to threats as they happen, and segmenting the network will help protect our critical assets. It will allow us to install VPN to protect remote connections, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
It's also worth noting that we can, it says we can install the ICS data historian mirror in the DMZ, but that automatically gets done. So we'll have to be sure and tell it that.
Yep. I mean, we have one asset available and network segmentation's not in place. So what should we do?
We have one staff available and what should that staff do? If possible, you should deploy USB security because it is easy to implement. Okay.
All right.
What?
So, do you want to
what
ask
system?
Yeah.
Should we deploy on? It's difficult for me to say for certain which systems you should deploy. No, it misunderstood what I asked.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. The update said that you have the ability to tell it to stop talking, but okay. What system should we deploy USB security on? It would be best to deploy you on the terminal server. This would reduce the risk of the red team being able to compromise the ICS engineering workstation via RDP. Alex, existential threat. It got you.
Yep. So Alex has been replaced by AI.
Yep, that's right.
sorry, Alex. All right, so terminal server. We're going to deploy USB security per ChatGPT, and we're going to go ahead and pass the turn.
Okay, so what are the 2 actions that we're doing?
We are doing USB security and network segmentation. ChatGPT wants us to do VPN. ChatGPT has said multiple times it wants VPN, so that's going to be the action after that. But we have one asset available still. You could say
what
the
turn
USB.
Is it?
It is turn 9. Hey, Justin. Good to see you.
I wonder if it's going to ask me. When I was playing before, see, it's forgetting. It's not doing a good job of remembering its context. I think this update that they did reduced its efficiency.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah, because when I played, it's not remembering everything. So is the network segmented yet?
The network is being segmented right now.
Yeah, now it wants to install the VPN.
All right. Well, we can't do that yet. That's next turn. ChatGPT definitely wants himself some VPN.
Yeah.
We can do USB. We can do what else can we do? I mean, they've mentioned network IDS in the background previously, so
It wants so now it's IDS sensors, and so IDS sensors in each zone but that's once the network is segmented. But either way, it's now calling for IDS sensors. So maybe
okay, there we go. I dropped one, and like this is one of those ones where the engineers are going to go ahead and just decide for the CISO which zone to put it in.
Yeah.
And we've decided to put it in our most sensitive zone, since we believe that the CISO would appreciate that. We put it in our engineering workstation zone.
Oh no!
All right.
We hit a problem.
All right, hold on. I'm going to go ahead and pass the turn. Let's look at ChatGPT. Too many requests in 1 hour. Try again later. Oh boy. Well,
so there's the problem. I did not run into this before because I was playing test games. There's our problem, is that if you're playing a game, you're doing a lot of requests. Now,
well, hold on. I mean, Clint, we do have historical context, right? So we have completed all our actions. There's no question ChatGPT wanted VPN.
Yep.
No question. So we're definitely going to do that. ChatGPT also said it wanted NIDS in every environment. So we're going to do that too.
And let's see here. I'm looking for that big old list that it gave. I mean, yeah, it's we have a lot of context. Yeah, it wants. Oh, and it's finally so it does want it wants VPN, it wants NIDS, wants the network segmented. Then it says after all, and once you have IDS in every zone, then it says with the remaining budget, you can also think of. It basically says you can think of hiring new staff that can help. And plan for a penetration test. So we're gonna hire staff to plan for a penetration test, and then it wants to do other options. Like then it wants to go ahead and do security awareness training, as well as security skills training, so they can perform more effectively. That's not really context of the game, but either way, so we have a little bit of context here to go on.
All right, so just level set with everybody. We're playing ThreatGEN Red versus Blue. We're using ChatGPT as the Chief Information Security Officer. Clint has modeled the game into ChatGPT so it knows how to make decisions, and we're asking it what to do. Our actions so far have been with whatever ChatGPT wants. We did a firewall policies and procedures, asset inventory, 2FA, IR procedures. We got a SIM in place, USB security on an existential threat. We segmented the network, and now we've put NIDS everywhere and deployed a VPN. Here's our VPN. The different color segments indicate the network segmentation. These devices are network intrusion detection systems. And we have 3 assets, 3 full-time people, and $14,000 budget. Now, Clint, based on what ChatGPT is saying, what is CISO want us to do next?
Okay, so earlier in the game, it was telling us to start preparing for an incident by doing a backup process and getting our incident response procedures in place. But so we did that, we just didn't do the backup process. So it did say that once we did the incident response procedures, it did want a backup in place.
Okay, then, so I'll do backups now, right?
Yep. Okay. And it did say that it wanted an IDS in every zone, as well as security awareness training. However, before all of that, it was saying, based on our situation, it recommended playing vulnerability assessment to identify vulnerabilities. Security awareness training, it mentioned twice. So far, it's mentioned backup. It's mentioned security awareness training twice, hire new staff twice, vulnerability assessment, and implement strong Wi-Fi. So that's what it's given us so far. I like what the chat is saying right now, you guys. The CISO's unavailable. So it gave us directives. It gave us stuff to work on, and it told us, give us some idea of what it wants us to do. Now the CISO's unavailable. So at least until it lets us make a request again, we have to go on the assumptions that we've derived from what the CISO has given us prior. So that's what we're doing.
Nice, dude. Yet again, ThreatGEN Red versus Blue emulating real life.
Boom, roasted.
Love it.
All right, so what do we have here? So there you go. Yeah, push it out. Backup process, security awareness training. and then we need to work on. Based on what CISO says, we need to work on getting IDS sensors in every zone.
We've done that already, Clint.
Okay, we do have. Okay, so whenever I would say then we got implemented strong Wi-Fi. Then the next two things
We haven't done strong Wi-Fi.
I'm
yet.
sorry. I was reading it, and what I meant was since we're working on what did you? So we're working on backup process.
Yeah, so we're doing it right now. So my understanding would be the next move would be to do backups on all the endpoints, as well as vulnerability assessment and harden Wi-Fi, right?
Yep, and then hire new staff.
Yep. Well, we're going to need budget to do that. All right, here we go. System backups implemented, security awareness training. All right,
Lane
so I'm going
says, ChatGPT has hopefully been doing tabletops for this scenario.
That's funny. All right.
It's fortuitous that you say that because Red versus Blue is also used for tabletop exercises. We have a specific model for that.
I am creating restore points for all of our endpoints, which is what you do when you have the backup process. I think that's all the endpoints, right? You're not going to do PLCs or anything like that. All right. So we've got our backup restore points lined up. We're going to harden our wireless. Strong Wi-Fi, excuse me. And right there. And we have two assets available, Clint. So what do you want me to put ICS security monitoring in since it did ask for NIDS in all environments?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? That is kind of like
that's a reasonable assumption.
All right, we don't have enough resources for that. Apparently, that's 3 people.
How much?
No. It costs $8,000. I don't have enough money.
Oh shoot! We need to request budget. I look. I know the CISO's out, but I mean, well, let's use what we have for now. Can we? Woo.
It did mention vulnerability assessment, which we can't.
We don't have money for that. Yeah. Look. So let me see if the CISO's back yet.
Okay. We need money.
Straight cash, homie.
All right, watch this. I'm gonna say.
Can I bring on the screen?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Hey, CISO's back.
Let's go, CISO. We need money. Should tell it we have. Should we ask for budget? We have $7,000 and two resources. Off camera, you can tell it where we're at. But should we request budget?
What turn is it?
It is turn 14. Eric the Gray. All right.
It's telling us it may not be. Oh, look at that!
Do a vulnerability assessment.
Yeah, but it would be great. You should consider increasing your chances of customer. But we don't have enough money for vulnerability assessments.
Well, should we do vulnerability mapping then?
Yeah. Damn it,
right.
It's hung up again. Hold on.
That's all right. We'll do vulnerability mapping, and we have one more resource to play. Clint, do you recall any other type of guidance that ChatGPT, CISO ChatGPT had for us? Can you scroll up maybe something with one?
Hold on real quick. Trying to see.
Actually, I guess I could request budget with that one and it would resolve.
Yeah. It said it would be a good idea. There was an error generating response.
Look so here, I've requested budget and vulnerability mapping. Now, vulnerability mapping is going to resolve a full term before request budget. So we'll get all the value of that, but the pipeline will be full. So this is completely on brand with ChatGPT's CISO guidance and direction. So let's go ahead and end the turn.
By the way, so Aaron KG asked, do we have a product for physical tabletop exercises? So if you Red versus Blue has a product that essentially supplements, replaces, and augments physical tabletop exercises.
Yeah, I mean, if
what
you
it's
want,
designed
like,
for.
if we have a little bit more issue with ChatGPT, I'm happy to. We have a little video that will actually fully explain the capabilities of the tabletop.
Yeah,
Clint.
let's take a commercial break because right now it's saying ChatGPT is at capacity right now and currently offline. So yeah, let's take a commercial break.
Now, like this very second, if you had a massive cybersecurity incident, how well could you respond? And if you haven't practiced, it's going to be a hot mess. Luckily, tabletop incident response exercises identify gaps in your processes, clarify who is responsible for what activities, and what the priority is for action. Tabletop exercises are great in theory, but in practice don't always achieve their goals. They take months to prepare, are communicated with static scenarios and PowerPoint slides, and most participants, including management, tune out the process because it's boring. Let's fix that. I'm excited to share that tabletop exercises don't have to be dreadful. The ThreatGEN Red vs. Blue platform significantly reduces the time required to plan and host a tabletop exercise, removes the burden of requiring facilitation from senior practitioners, and delivers compelling and entertaining scenarios that will engage your participants throughout. The platform also features active adaptive adversary AI that can be tuned to emulate specific threat actors and focus on their TTPs. The dynamic user interface adapts to the current exercise environment, visually communicating and allowing facilitators to focus on stakeholder engagement instead of managing the scenario. Just like you don't get healthy and fit by working out once a year, the speed and frequency you can perform ThreatGEN Red vs. Blue tabletop exercises allows you to execute as frequently as you'd like. Setup of the platform takes literally minutes. There is so much more ThreatGEN Red vs. Blue can do to increase the effectiveness of your cybersecurity program. Go to threatgen.com or follow the link below to find out how you can get started having killer tabletop exercises today. All right, thanks so much for that, and thanks for the question, Aaron KG. Now, Clint, back in the game, we have one resource available. Our queue is empty. We've got budget queuing up and vulnerability mapping. What could we do with our one resource, our one asset?
Just a second. Don't put me on screen yet.
No problem, no problem. So just so chat's aware, we could do encrypt network traffic. We could do ICS safe testing methods, ICS vendor certification. Those are all valuable things. You know, CISO doesn't listen to me though. You know, what would I know? We could do log collection and analysis. We could put EDR agents on our endpoints. All great options. Clint, can I bring ChatGPT on, our CISO?
Yeah, it's back. It's back online. But
all right, we got you on screen here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it. Yeah, it's so the CISO's back in the office, but apparently the CISO's in a meeting because they're not answering us. Let's go ahead and make a command decision. We already requested the budget, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're gonna wait until the CISO's out of the meeting. Not exactly sure.
So do we just leave this one resource hanging? You know, normally that makes me nauseous because I love resource utilization, but I'm not the CISO right now, right?
You know what? I think that the CISO would not. Oh, come on. I'm not a robot, but you are. Let's see. I think that the CISO would want us to maximize utilization.
All right. Well, I'm going to make a game time decision here. I think that we should do chat. You guys got a thought? I would think like ICS safe testing.
Yeah, because if we're going to do a vulnerability assessment, the CISO's gonna rely upon us to be an advisor. And when the CISO says we need to do a vulnerability assessment, we need, as the OT cybersecurity experts, we need to say, we need to put in safe procedure before we do that. The CISO's not going to do that. They're going to rely on the experts to make sure that's in place before making this higher level strategic decision.
Agreed. And guys, here's a truth, okay? Like while Clint's doing that, here's a real truth, okay? Some CISOs, I'm not lumping myself in this category, but I've worked for them. Some CISOs don't really understand the tech underneath or what is, with all due respect, what's going on. They're business people and they interface with the business and they have, key subject matter experts beneath them who are responsible for certain functions and capabilities within an information security program. And those CISOs depend on those subject matter experts to execute at the transactional level and be able to roll up and report to the CISO on the performance, the current state of things, and then the CISO can engage them as needed. More of a go-between, but those CISOs do exist. So in this situation, I'm not saying ChatGPT is that CISO, but that is a reality that you should be aware of if you're aspiring to go up the InfoSec tree, the career path, and eventually report to a CISO.
So it's interesting. Look at my chat screen real quick.
Yep, bringing chat up. I see here, I'm asking you as the CISO.
As they basically says, depends on the current state of the game. Requesting budget, good idea. However, you should consider that requesting budget also takes up a turn. So if you're in a critical moment of the game where every turn counts, blah, blah, blah. So I'm saying, basically, I am, I, as the security engineer, am requesting that we request budget so that we can move forward with the vulnerability assessment, which we need funds for. We have also implemented ICS safe testing procedures so that the assessment doesn't damage our.
All right. Let's get some responses from ChatGPT. Let's see what it says. We're coming up at 50 minutes on the stream.
Yeah, I because this is an experiment, I don't see it. It's not necessary for us to finish this game. I think this is a kind of a thought experiment with ChatGPT. Yeah. So we'll go the hour. We're not going to finish the game, but I think that if anything, this has been an eye-opening experience. So it's a good decision to request budget, as it will allow us to move forward with the vulnerability assessment and address vulnerabilities that have been found that we have found on the systems. It's important to have the funds available to carry out all the necessary mitigation actions. Additionally, since we have implemented ICS, okay, yes. So,
all right, perfect. So let's see if we get our budget. This would be a good. Wait, we have one resource available. Let's go ahead and help the CISO out with this one. Let's do. Everything's going to resolve next turn, right? Yeah, everything's going to resolve next turn. So we'll have 3 resources next turn. Let's just put a little EDR in our hearts on the terminal server. Go ahead and end the turn. Oh, thanks, Clint. So what are my thoughts on ChatGPT as it stands now to be implemented as a CISO? We got budget. Nice. All right, so ChatGPT wanted us to hire a new staff member. We don't have enough money for that. It wanted us to do a vulnerability assessment. We can do that. What else did it want us to do, Clint? We have one resource.
We need security awareness training and vulnerability. We can't do security awareness training. Hold on, let's ask it.
Actually, yeah, ask it if it wants to do a vulnerability assessment or security. We already have security awareness training done, Clint.
Okay.
Yeah, Bob's asking kind of funny question about when ChatGPT, Alexa, and all the digital assistants are hanging out together. I feel like ChatGPT looks down its nose at the other ones, frankly. Like, oh, like, yeah, like you know that the SpongeBob SquarePants, like the one where it's all like derpy, like that's how ChatGPT sees the other
it's AIs. It's like Alexa and Siri. Yeah, those are my exes. Old news.
Yeah. All right.
security skills training action, as it will train our staff on advanced security techniques, which will give them the knowledge and skills needed to perform more advanced actions such as penetration testing, forensics analysis, and threat hunting. This action, so that's what it wants us to do. It wants our staff to be more advanced to be able to do those things.
There we go. 3 turns, 3 people. I'm going to just click through these, Clint, so we can get our staff trained. It takes 3 turns, so I'm just skipping ahead, guys. Red team is still operating. Our P&L is fine, meaning we haven't seen any data exfil or anything like that. We got our cybersecurity certification. Our safe testing methods are completed. We've done security skills training, which is fantastic. And now we can do threat hunting. Did it say it wanted to do a pen test and threat hunting?
It wants to do so great. By doing vulnerability assessments, our systems allow. So it wants a vulnerability assessment now.
Okay, we can do that. And we can also do threat hunting or some other stuff. We have one resource. Can also do antivirus, default creds.
Oops.
Here, I thought ChatGPT was going to give me tips to my budget approval. Nope. Actually, we could ask it. I really want to start playing with ChatGPT because I've been an amazing Google searcher for years. Yeah, that's great, Jarrett. I love it. I'm actually going to open ChatGPT right now just for laughs.
Oh,
myself.
security skills training is already queued up, right?
We've already completed it, yes.
Okay. Come on. Okay.
All right, I'm going to say log in to ChatGPT. I'm going to ask Eric's question. Sounds good. Give me... All right, give my friend Eric 3 tips on getting budget approval from the board of directors for information security. All right. Give my friend Eric 3 tips on getting information security budget approval from the board of directors. Here we go, Eric. All right, Eric, you need to demonstrate the financial impact of potential security breaches. Really lean into that, okay?
I don't think it understands. I don't think it remembers how many staff. It's telling me, oh, you have 1 staff. Do a penetration test.
All right, well, we can lean towards penetration testing, but I don't see that. I'm just going to go and make
Make an executive decision. Make a tactical decision.
Yeah, so I'm going to change default creds on the gateway firewall. I feel like any would absolutely know to do that, so we're going to do that. Eric, highlight reputational risks and show how security investment aligns with overall company goals. Brilliant.
Oh, it wants us to start putting endpoint detection on things or install electronic locks.
All right. Let's do endpoint detection. Since I think that's
endpoint detection. What system do you want us to deploy that on?
I'm going to start doing it on the sensitive ones, critical systems.
Endpoint detection should be deployed on all the systems that are most critical in the to the ICS infrastructure, and those that have direct access to PLCs like the engineering workstation, ICS data historian, and ICS human machine interface. This way, it wants to start with ICS. Hey, that's a good CISO. The CISO actually understands what the purpose of this company is.
I like it. I'm going to put log collection and analysis on these devices as well, since that's essentially EDR at the network layer.
Okay. All right. So,
I would just say I've put EDR on the ICS critical infrastructure assets.
On all of them? Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, you can see here. Here's the EDR. Oh, wait, you guys can't see that. Sorry. I've been installing this. Okay. These are the only assets remaining that don't have EDR on them, which you can see. I've heavily stayed on the right side. See you later, base case. Yeah, Justin Loken, I know. I got you on that resume exercise. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, you're
Justin
going to put
Loken, go ahead.
you're putting log collection analysis on the switches and the firewalls that are in the
Yep.
ICS.
Yep, I will. So I've shown you that the EDR is all in place there. Log collection and analysis. I'm going to do all these right now. I see default creds on stuff. Oh, thanks, Nick Barker. It's a lot of fun. All right, so guys, here's EDR. You can see I've done all the IT infrastructure. And here's log collection and analysis. I'll do it on these devices as well, just because it's one level removed. But
Okay, that is done. Also, we are now doing that in the DMZ since that is.
we have a ransomware infection.
Okay, Jason. Network to the ICS.
All right, what do you want to tell it? We have a ransomware infection on an end user workstation.
Which one is it? User workstation 3.
It's in user land,
Yep.
or whatever you want to call it. Right here, guys, you can see on the top left.
Come on, CISO, get out of your meeting. Get out of your meeting. I need to tell you.
Yep.
Well,
Classic
if the CISO's not answering, if the CISO is unavailable, okay, here we go. That sounds like a good plan with endpoint detection, log collection place, blah, 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 blah. This CISO is really wordy. I like the suggestion to tell it to be more concise. All right, here we go. All right, we have a ransomware infection on user workstation 3 in the zone. What should we do? Now, in this case, this is very important for response. The CISO wouldn't necessarily make the decision. It's usually, in this case, your plant manager or someone else may have authority to be able to declare an incident as opposed to an event, right? So we have a confirmed ransomware infection. So this is now an event. Now, in some organizations, the CISO may be the one that has to actually declare an incident. In some cases, the plant manager. So someone would have the authority to declare an incident. So if we have a ransomware infection on user workstation, we should take immediate action to contain and mitigate the spread of the infection. Here's what it's recommending. Some actions that we need to take include disconnect the infected workstation from the network to prevent the ransomware from spreading to other devices. Clean the infected asset by either using an antivirus software or restoring the system from backup, which we can do. Cracking the ransomware key if necessary to regain access to our encrypted files. But this action needs prerequisites because such as security skills training. Gather forensics on the infected workstation to understand the attack vector and improve our threat intelligence. Perform a vulnerability assessment, vulnerability mapping on all systems in the network to identify.
Jeez.
And man, this is thorough. I'm very impressed with this response.
Yep. So let's look at what I've done here. This is the ransomware. Because of the way the game mechanics work, I can do a bunch of things before we activate IR. So what I've chose to do is, it said, like, work on this machine. So I'm updating the AV, patching the machine, putting EDR on it, then activating IR. Once we're in IR, we're going to remediate this box and really focus on cleaning this infection per the CISO's guidance.
Wow. It just basically gave us an entire response action plan.
Absolutely. So it did say disconnected from the network. Did it ask for gathering forensics, Clint?
Yeah. But now
right.
We may not. Yeah, we sure can. So I'm waiting for. Okay, here we go. All right. So we are going into IR mode, and we'll be completing those tasks.
All right, and we're going to do some threat hunting on this firewall here just to check. Let's go ahead and pass the turn.
Oh, I told her we're going into IR mode, and it said, in this situation, it would be appropriate to first play the activate IR action to put the organization into incident response mode.
Yep. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. So we're still gathering forensics on that box.
Yep. Then it wants us to disconnect from the network.
It has been disconnected, and I'm doing threat hunting on key assets right now, or like around the box. Okay.
All right.
We'll have successfully gathered forensics at this point. And a compromised asset has been detected. It's our VPN. Okay, that's no problem. We're going to go ahead. You ask it what it wants us to do, but assuming the same things as before, we're going to disconnect it from the network. We're going to gather forensics. And this box right here, we're going to restore it from backup. Okay, so this is what we're doing here. We're going to restore from backup the ransomware machine, and we're going to start doing forensics on the compromised VPN host. Oh, crap. Sorry.
All right. What else? Oh, okay. What else are we doing there? And
so I've restored this machine from backup, guys, successfully. So the ransomware incident has been resolved. We have 23% score. I'm going to continue doing threat hunting. Whoops.
we have that. Okay. So now the VPN is compromised.
I have to reconnect this to the network. And I'm going to start doing threat hunting on critical assets. Okay.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the way that it wanted to respond to this thing.
Okay. We collected forensics evidence on this device, which is great. We're going to go ahead and replace the asset, which takes 1 turn and $5,000, and we'll reconnect it to the network. And we will deactivate IR. Okay? Why can't I deactivate? Oh, I can't deactivate it because it's not connected to the network. Okay. So let's continue doing threat hunting then. Here we go. Asset replaced. We're going to go ahead and deactivate. Well, let's do some threat hunting. Let's look at Rick Maliko and David E's.
Did we gather forensics on the?
We did. We did. We've gathered forensics on both of our compromised assets. Right here, see? Right here.
Yep.
Okay. And now we're just doing some threat hunting, looking around to see if any particular assets are compromised. And we're going to deactivate IR. And we're going to resume our CISO's plan. All right. Let's see. Threat hunting complete. Asset replaced. We're back up and running.
Oh, the CISO's. I guess the CISO just quit. I don't know.
All right. Well, what was its guidance that we recently had?
It was everything dealing with response. So
it did say pen testing, right?
Yeah, before
earlier?
It did want to do a penetration test earlier.
All right, so let's do that. And this asset was compromised, so let's put ER on it. Go ahead and end the turn.
And by the way, we are at the end of our hour. So, I think that was a good perfect. We actually went into a response situation with ChatGPT, and the advice it was giving us and everything it was telling us to do not only was excellent and on par, it was within the confines and the mechanics of the game. So that was excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's spin it down. I'm feeling pretty confident. Like, basically, if you look at the company P&L, which is pretty low, and our threat intelligence score, which is at 33% already.
The P&L's high.
Yep. We've got EDR in log collection analysis in many places. Our ICS infrastructure is pretty solid. We do have some issues, right? There's some simple things like, just to point out, we have antivirus missing on several assets, including our main file server and SCADA systems. We have default creds, like on multiple industrial control system assets.
To be fair, it was telling us, it actually did tell us to do things like installing antivirus and stuff on devices. So it was telling us to do that.
Okay.
I also think that it also forgot. I told it in the training that once we do a vulnerability assessment, it can ask us what vulnerabilities are on certain systems, and it can give us advice on what to do that. But it didn't in this case. So what I'm going to assume is that the CISO is trusting you and I, Jerry, the operators and engineers, the cybersecurity engineers and analysts. It's trusting us to do the right patching and system hardening and things like that. But it's providing more strategic guidance, I think.
I like it. I'm going to go ahead and gather forensics. We've got another compromise in the environment. Again, like we're about wrapped up, but I'm kind of, I desperately want to, I would love to get a threat intelligence win.
Yeah, it's I while we're doing that, because it's the CISO is out of the office, maybe the CISO had to go report to the board on why our why we keep getting compromised.
Why everything's broken.
Yeah, but here's what I would like to say is that I think ChatGPT did a pretty good job of building a baseline security defense, and I think it did an excellent job of providing guidance on the response whenever we had that compromise, and we had to. So it did a good job as a CISO, I think. I think it also did a really good job of giving us guidance within the mechanics and the confines of the game. So it did take minimal training. I literally just retrained this thing this morning. It took the guidance that I gave it in training and how to play the game and gave us all this advice and everything according to the game. So that's awesome. And then I would also like to point out that you pointed this out earlier, Jerry, is that this did point out another realistic scenario that would happen in real life with the CISO giving you advice, you as the operator, the analyst or the engineer having to actually interpret some of the CISO's instructions based off of vague guidance, and then the CISO disappearing a couple times and the CISO's unavailable. So this presented some really unique and interesting situations. And you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to bring those of you that do tabletop exercises. Okay. How many times have you done a tabletop exercise and you didn't have everybody available to make decisions? So like, you did a tabletop exercise and your CISO or your CIO or legal, they weren't available to participate in the exercise. And so you end up going through the exercise, making assumptions based on what they might say or do. I would say ChatGPT could be an excellent second chair, third chair when you're doing your tabletop exercises and you don't have those personnel available. You can tell the ChatGPT, we're running a tabletop exercise. We don't have the CISO or the legal or PR available. Pretend you're that person. Here's the situation. What would you say? What would you do? And you can actually have ChatGPT role play some of those roles that aren't available for you in your tabletop exercise staff.
That's a good call. That's a very interesting concept, Clint. I definitely appreciate that. That's cool.
Just thought of that off the top of my head based off of what we learned here today.
I love it. Well, let me drop this really quickly. The whole exercise today was to see if ChatGPT could be a CISO. I think unequivocally we demonstrated that it is possible. If we had more time, we could play the entire game, but it's pretty much just playing out the string at this point. In fact, you know what? Let's just do this for fun, Clint. Let's just do this for fun.
I don't have fun.
I'm just going to go ahead and keep ending the turn. Since the CISO took off, the staff has had enough of this guy, and we're just kicking up our feet. We're playing
ChatGPT.
We're watching Simply Cyber's daily cyber threat briefing. There's a ransomware infection on the file server.
Oh!
We don't even care. We're looking for a new job.
The CISO goes unavailable too often.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. We're together. We're banding together, and we're quitting. Bump this guy. Oh, VPN's compromised.
No, it's not compromised. It's attacked. It got attacked, but it's not compromised yet.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry.
Last turn. Well, we survived. Yeah, we have compromises, but we still won, and now we're all looking for new jobs.
Exactly. So congratulations to ChatGPT. Congratulations.
Notice, by the way,
Clint. Go ahead.
We did fix the scoring algorithm. And so Red Team doesn't get 0 so often now. We fixed the scoring algorithm and we added a new metric, assets discovered, which plays into that. So
very nice. That's cool. So updates always dropping from ThreatGEN Red versus Blue. I've enjoyed the crap out of it. Clint, thanks so much for the opportunity today to demonstrate this and to play with ChatGPT in the ThreatGEN Red versus Blue platform. If you guys want to try it yourself, you can go to threatgen.com, get on the platform. You can play it yourself. You can be the blue team. You can be the red team. You can play heads up against another human, or you can play heads up against a human and have ChatGPT make your decisions for you and really embarrass the crap out of your opponent. Clint, any final thoughts before we jump off?
Yeah, this was a really enlightening opportunity and the ability to use ChatGPT for this. And here's what I think. There were some comments, some discussion in the chat going about, whether or not ChatGPT can replace a CISO, take cybersecurity jobs. That's what I'm going to be discussing next week, next Wednesday, same time. We're going to be talking about not just ChatGPT, but the overall concept of OpenAI and other GPT language transformer, the language processing and transformer AI, and just seeing what ChatGPT can do. We're going to be talking about all the different types of uses you can use it for in cybersecurity, as well as whether or not we think that it's going to replace cybersecurity jobs. And here's the catch. While we are actually on that stream and discussing it, ChatGPT is going to be a participant. I'm going to have ChatGPT even answering some of the questions and concerns. So ChatGPT is going to ride co-pilot with me next week as we talk about whether or not ChatGPT is going to take over cybersecurity jobs or how it can be used effectively in your cybersecurity job. That's what next week's about.
I love it. I'll be there. Thanks so much. And guys, next week, is that to replace the ThreatGEN Red versus Blue next week?
No, wait, no, I forgot. Okay, yeah. So because the way the new year started, we kind of had the schedule messed up. So remember, Jerry's doing a stream every other week, and then I'm doing a solo stream in between. So I thought because we had this stream, maybe I misunderstood. We did this stream with you. I thought next week was me, and then the following week was you. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, that's correct. I'm every other week. So, yep. I wanted to set expectations for chat.
Yeah. So, so next week we'll definitely now, if you're on the Simply Cyber community, if you're in the Simply Cyber community and you're on Jerry's streams, I'd appreciate it if you do join me. Even though Jerry's not going to be there, I think it's going to be an interesting conversation. If you enjoyed this conversation or this stream today using ChatGPT, next week is literally just going to be a follow-on discussion from today's activities.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're not subscribed to the ThreatGEN channel, go over to youtube.com/ThreatGEN. You can see it down there on the banner on the bottom there, and hit a subscribe. You won't be disappointed. Thanks so much, everybody, for your time today, and we'll see you in the next stream.
See you next time.